Hey guys, we are back for Bandcamp Dailies number 37. We have some listens today. We have a bunch of listens. We've done videos for Caffeine Crash, Cohesive Deterioration, Cries from a Defective Mind. Actually, we've done videos for all of them. However, we are going to be relooking, is that the word I wanted to use? Relooking at, that doesn't sound right. We're going to be looking at the Perverse Teleportation songs once again. By the way, I just wanted to mention, someone listened to Cries from a Defective Mind and Cohesive Deterioration. These are two of my Octopus Core songs / albums, and I am so proud of these albums. I'm glad people listen to these because I'm so proud of them, even though they're free jazz and freestyle, but they are quite dark and just like I mentioned already, I'm extremely proud of them. And I wish I would have videotaped myself recording them, especially on drums, because that is where my peak drum ability shines on these songs, where I'm just playing for half an hour, random nonsense nonstop. And unfortunately, each time I went to record one of those songs, I'm like, okay, I'll videotape myself next time. And then the next song, I was like, okay, I'll videotape myself next time. And then I had to stop making them. And now I really regret not doing that. By the way, I got my MRI results like a week or so ago. And there is officially a couple things wrong with my wrist. So on one hand, it's good to finally have some sort of confirmation that there is something wrong. On the other hand, there's something wrong. So that's not good. Now I'll make a full update vlog video after I talk to my doctor. So I don't know when that's going to be, maybe next week or the week after. But with that being said, that's my new favorite saying. We are revisiting the Perverse Teleportation songs. So I had mentioned the last time we talked about this album, I don't remember what episode that was. There was several episodes ago, that if people wanted to listen to some of these songs again, I had something else to show. And I gave what I'm about to show tonight, I gave a little peek-see to one of the previous videos. Because what we are going to do, we've talked about every single song on this album. We've watched every single video that I recorded on this album. And however, I think so. Okay, I don't know how to start this. So I'll just sort of recap this album. This album is a black metal / dungeon synth album. Dungeon synth, once again, that's just ambient noise on keyboards. And so that's what it is. Half the songs are black metal. These first 10 songs, the last 10 songs are dungeon synth. But what does that have to do with what I'm talking about? Okay, so when I made this album, when I went to write the songs, I wrote them on guitar, obviously. But I wrote them on my electric guitar while it was unplugged. So they had no distortion. It wasn't plugged in at all, so it wasn't electrified at all. It basically, another one of my favorite sayings, acted as an acoustic guitar. And so I wrote the songs on my unplugged electric. And when you do that, I've done that before, on acoustic at least, it changes how you write the songs because it sounds different. And it ends up working out very well. And so every single riff on this album features ringing notes, which is really cool, especially once you add distortion. So there's a lot of noise and at times dissonance and whatnot. And it works well for black metal. And so when I say that I wrote all the songs on electric guitar, on my unplugged electric, normally when I write music, I will tab it out at the same time as I'm writing it, because this has happened before. I go to sleep, I wake up and I forget either the timing of the song or the fingering, on the frets and whatnot. And it's really annoying and it makes me sad because I had it down the day before and now I don't know what it is anymore. And so then I started quite a while ago, actually, tabbing out as I was writing so that there was no mistake. So I knew how the songs would go And so that's what I usually did. But for this album, I didn't do that. I came up with some riffs and some loose like song structure ideas. And then what I did was I had my laptop and I recorded myself playing, and I used like the laptop mic. So it was a really crude recording and it was extremely sloppy. It was I just wanted to record the riffs onto the laptop so that I had a backup of the riff, so I knew how the riff was played. And it wasn't a big deal because there was no distortion. Normally when, you're playing ringing notes and chords and whatnot with distortion, it's hard to, because I didn't want to tab out the songs, so I wouldn't know exactly what the fingerings were. But because it was clean guitar and it was unplugged, it's easier for me to figure out how to play it again, because the notes are more, you can hear them better. They're not drowned in distortion. And so that's what I did. When I came up with a bunch of riffs, I recorded them onto my laptop as WAV files, and then I left them for a few months or whatever until I was ready to write the songs fully. So I feel like, I sort of had ideas for each of these 10 songs. And I recorded those ideas into a WAV file. The structure was not the same. This was very rough. My initial recording onto the WAV files onto my laptop, it was extremely rough, extremely sloppy. I just wanted to get the riff ideas down. And then afterwards, when I was getting ready to record the album, I had to fully arrange each song, etc., so that it was an actual song. And I used those WAV files as a reference, as a guide. And so the whole point of this video is we are going to listen to all of those WAV files, all of those rough, super sloppy WAV files that I recorded with my unplugged electric guitar. So we have 10 songs to listen to. So we have the rough initial original versions of all of these songs. I think even a couple of these songs feature, I know at least one of them has a couple riffs that I didn't end up using in the song. So that's kind of interesting. Just a reminder, they're very rough and very sloppy. So it's going to be like listening to someone who's just started out playing guitar. Because I didn't have the song down. I hadn't practiced. The song wasn't even written yet. I was just coming up with ideas. So it's going to be quite a different vibe listening to these tracks. However, so there's going to be 10 of these rough versions of the tracks. And I also have 9 extra tracks that were unused on this album. And a couple of them I really like. Some of them are very short. It's basically just one riff or something. Others are just like this. They're more fully fledged. They have multiple riffs and whatnot. But I just never ended up arranging a full song out of them for whatever reason. I don't remember. But so that's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to all of those songs. And there's about half an hour's worth of music on it. So I feel like I shouldn't be talking so much. So we're already 9 minutes in. Of course, tonight's going to be a popcorn night. So, okay. So I have to turn the volume down on my computer. All right, so I'm going to make my popcorn. So here we have the first 10 songs. So we have the titles as well, Disgust and Obsession, Sensual Overload, etc., etc., etc. And we get to number 11, and it's Unused 1 up to Unused 9. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. I was going to say maybe the most interesting part is going to be when we get to the unused stuff. But I don't know. Maybe someone actually wants to hear the original versions of the actual songs. Either way, I'm going to go make some popcorn. We're going to start with the actual songs. I think that's like 18 minutes. So if you want to skip ahead to the other songs, then go for it. but I will be right back. And we are back. I got my popcorn. And so tonight I had the red popcorn. This is the red popcorn. I never know if you can see this or not. It looks very, very pretty. It's a little bigger than the ladyfinger popcorn, but in general, it's a small kernel popcorn. So I had the ladyfinger last night. It was very good. All right, so let's get right to it. These are the original songs from, or the original. Just remember what I said just a minute ago. I don't want to have to say it again because I don't know how to say it properly. So we're going to listen to the first 10 songs. They are in order. I had to reorder them in my project earlier today, so you can follow along with the title at the top as well. All right, so this is Disgust and Obsession. This riff here, I think even the previous one, it's in like 11/8. And so I had just written the riff before I recorded this. So I didn't have it down proper. I didn't have it down exactly. So it's just constant mistakes. All right, we're on to track 2, Sensual Overload now. Obviously, I couldn't figure out how I should play that riff. I don't know if this part is in the actual song, to be honest. I like it though. Like the stuff on the low strings. I really like the stuff, that riff on the low strings. Okay, so we're on selfish satiation. This is a tongue twister. Shellfish satisfaction. This, I really like the song. This is one of my favorite songs. The first finger bang song. Got some finger banging. I forgot about that. There we go. Unfortunately, that was very short. There's more to the song, but that part that we just listened to, that's pretty much exactly what happens in the final version. And then there's an extra part that I added in the final version. So this one is number 4, The Absence of Touch. The final version is slightly different than this. I do not like this. I like the final version better. I just noticed I have my mouse hovering over the pause key, and it says pause, and then it says media keyboard plus pause. And I looked at my keyboard to see if it has a pause button. It does. I wonder if this works. I don't want to screw anything up. Ho, 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 ho. You know, I had this like Logitech, wireless keyboard. And so like where the F1, F2, F3, where all those keys are, you have to press function and then those keys to trigger the F1, F2, F3. And then without pressing function, it has these other options. It always bothered me. I feel like the default should be the F1, F2, F3. And if you want to trigger the other actions, you should press function. I feel like it's backwards. However, in this case, this makes it much better for me because all I have to do is press the F11 key, which is also known as the play/pause key. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. By the way, now we're on to Unrequited Fantasy, track 5. I swear I heard Coyotes in the song. I just spoiled it, but in one of the unused tracks, there is a very faint sound effect of not a sound effect, a very real sound clip of a coyote that was howling outside the house, and it got picked up by the laptop, and it sounded like it was in this song too. What the hell am I doing right there? It's kind of funny. That song in this version the song structure is pretty much identical in the final version. In the final version, I added this one little extra weird timing thing onto a riff, but basically it's the same thing. Now we're into Submersed in Thought. One of these songs we've already listened to on one of the songs on one of the other videos. I forget which one though, but this is track 6, Submersed in Thought. This is the star of the song, this riff right here. I actually much prefer it in the unplugged version as opposed to the distorted version. Adding the distortion makes it sound a little grating. All right, so this is Insecurities, track 7. Once again, this is the second finger-picked song, finger-banged song. You gotta keep the finger bang in your head. That sound, the structure on that one was identical to the final version as well. I mean, the final songs, they're not very structurally complex, but this song especially, it's very straightforward. But apparently I had pre-written it already in this rough version. All right, so the next one is track 8, The Meaning of Existence. If I remember correctly, this is the one that we've already listened to in one of the previous videos. I don't know if we listened to all of it or not, but yeah, I feel like this is probably my least favorite song on the final version, but I do like how it sounds in the unplugged version. I feel like all the songs sound better unplugged. I don't know. Not better unplugged, but they all sound good unplugged, probably because they were written like that. So sometimes the songs don't really translate perfectly to when you add distortion. Usually they do, but in a couple instances, like with this one, it didn't really translate as good. And also one of the previous songs I mentioned where it sounded grating. The strong structure for this one is also identical to the final version, except for the very end. I didn't play the last part. I only played it once in this, and then I think I played it 4 times in the final version. Okay, now we're on to Fulfilling Every Desire. This is my favorite song off of the, I think it's my favorite song off of the final version. I don't think it sounds very good on this version. Maybe that's why I was surprised when it became my final version, because this song really shined through with the distortion, and I don't know, it sounded better with distortion and drums, obviously. I was about to say I'd never played this part. I never played this part correctly on this song, but the last time I just played it, I finally played it right. I keep hitting the wrong strings, and I'm not plucking properly. All right. So we are on to the very last song. This is called A Gift From Within. This is track 10. And then after this, we have the new stuff, the unreleased stuff, the stuff you've never heard before. So let's listen. This is my favorite part of the song. This part's not in the final version, though I like it. I wonder why I didn't include it. So there's your Perverse Teleportation. Those were the initial rough tracks that I recorded and that I used as a reference to arrange the final versions of the songs. And now we are on to the unreleased music, the unused songs, or riffs, I should say, that were not used on the Perverse Teleportation album. They were not used on any album. So, if I was smart, I would arrange these into a new album one day. That is a really good idea that I just thought of doing right now. Maybe I'll have to do that. Some of these riffs, now the reason these riffs were not included, I don't know if I said this already in the video, but it's not because I didn't like them. Some of them, they're very short. It's literally just one riff. And it just didn't fit in with the other songs. And I would have had to write like more riffs in order to arrange the song, fully flesh out the song. And I just never ended up doing that. And then other times, like this one looks like a fully fledged song, but maybe I didn't like it as much as the other ones. I know there's specifically one track that we're going to listen to in the unused version because literally every single riff in the songs we just listened to feature ringing notes. So that was a theme of the album. And one of the songs we're about to listen to out of the unused version, it has like some palm muting. And so that it didn't really fit in with the theme, even though I do like the song. So one of these days I should make a Perverse Teleportation the second. This is like Metallica's Load and Reload. Okay, so let's listen to it. This is another finger bang song. Yes, got some more finger bang action. I think there's even more later as well. I really like this one. I sort of played a bad note on the end there. All right, so now we're off to number 2. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have these memorized, so I don't know what they are until I hear them. I'm pretty sure this one's really good, though, because it's very short. One of the very short ones I really like. It's not this one, but I do like this riff, but it's literally just one riff. right, so this is the third one. This is probably the one I really like. Yes, this is the one I really like. This is the one that features the Coyotes. So we're going to listen to this twice. Let me just place the cursor right there. Okay. Finger bang, more finger banging. Gonna be sore tonight. Did you hear that? Did you hear the Coyotes? So I would have had the laptop right here on my table. You probably don't know what's right here. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm sure it appears in one of my other videos. There's a table right to my left. And there's a chair. And so I would have had my laptop here. I would have been sitting in the chair. My setup was slightly different. But normally my desk right here was like further over here. I did not have a recliner at the time. And so I had the laptop here. The door was open. Yeah, the door was open. Just like it is right now, actually. And the Coyotes were outside. They were howling. And the microphone picked it up. So that's not the first time that's happened, by the way. Is that also... okay, yeah. I added a sample of a coyote that I had recorded at the end of Vague Evolving Patterns. I think is what the album's called. Vague Evolving Patterns. 20-minute long song. And at the end, I was recording vocals for that song. And I had the door open again because it was nice out. And I was recording vocals, and then I hear the Coyotes are outside, and they were getting really loud. So I'm like, okay, I point the microphone outside, and I got a sample of them. I got a little clip of them howling, and I added that clip to the end of that song. So that's pretty cool. This, however, this is like baked in with the guitar. So this is very real, is totally spontaneous, and it's part of the song now. Yeah, so this song was going to be like a full song. And I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure out how to make it how I wanted. Which is kind of funny because I listened to it just before this video and I could definitely make it how I wanted to make it. I don't know, maybe I just wanted 10 songs, a nice even 10. I'm not sure. Because I also needed to write I needed to write an equal amount of dungeon synth songs. So I may have just chosen 10, picked 10, so that I only had to write 10 dungeon synth songs. Another tongue twister. Shellfish satisfaction. Okay, this riff coming up, I really like it. It's like my favorite part of this song. And then I just ruin it. I would take that part out, but keep the first part. And then it goes higher and it does a similar thing. That's really cool. Yeah, those two riffs are the star of the song. I like this song too, but it's just one riff again. I like this riff. I was listening to this before actually, and I know how to fix it. I know how to fix this riff. I know how to add on. I know exactly what to do. I didn't play guitar. I just know by listening to it exactly what I have to do. So I can salvage this one for sure. If you listen to the very highest note, like the highest string, it stays on the same fret the entire time. And so I want to have it like that at the beginning, but then like towards the second half of the riff, like as it repeats, I don't know after how many repeats, but eventually you start putting that higher string up higher, and then to add on to the melody that way. That's how you fix it. Pro tip. Okay, I think this is the one with the palm mutes. So the vibe of this song is quite different generally from all of the other songs, but I do like the song. There's a lot of riffs in this song too, and so I clearly worked on this song. It didn't fit in with the other ones, unfortunately. And I did all the song structure and everything too. Yeah, it's funny. That entire song is right there. I don't really have to do anything to it. I just have to clean it up in terms of the timing and whatnot, make sure it does specific things during each part of the song. But each section of the song is there. So, yeah, just it never made it to the final cut, unfortunately. Uh-oh, I'm doing tremolo picking. That goes against the rules. Literally no other riff in the entire album has tremolo picking. So this one got axed as well. I feel like the first part of the song, I don't know, it wasn't all there anyway. The chords, I do like the chords though. By the way, I'm out of popcorn. I didn't make enough popcorn. I made a full thing of popcorn and I ate it all. I'm such a fatty. All right, so this is the final song. This final song, it really reminds me of my old Time of Death music. It would fit in perfectly as an outtake from that, which is kind of funny. All right, there you go. Those are the unreleased songs, the unused tracks from Perverse Teleportation from 2019. I guess I recorded those in 2018. Maybe some were recorded in 2018, some were recorded in 2019. I did 2 sessions of writing. The initial session was in 2018, and then as I was about to start, finishing the album, I wrote some riffs in 2019 as well, and then I arranged everything. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop the video. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I'll finger bang you later.